Are you ready to be more productive in your home and say goodbye to the dreaded mom guilt associated with the messy house and chaotic days? Hey, my name's Rachel, and the Mama Gets It Done podcast is for the everyday mom. Yes, even those hot mess moms who just need a little grace and a few tips for getting more done in your day. If you're ready to figure out how to stop hating cooking every night, how to give chaotic days a little more structure, and how to find more time for you in this crazy mom life, then you are in the right place. Hello, Mama friend. I'm so excited you're here. Welcome to the first official episode of the Mama Gets It Done podcast. Today, I'm going to share a little bit about me and exactly what you're going to be hearing in the weeks and months to come, and hopefully years here. So, hey. My name's Rachel. You may know me from my website, This Crafty Home, where I talk mostly about freezer meal prep, meal planning, schedules, a little bit of this and that. This podcast has been a dream of mine for a really long time, and I'm finally taking the leap. So I'm excited, and I'm here to take you with me. So I'm a mom of two, and my story probably sounds a lot like yours. After I had my first kiddo, I was a full-time working mom. My husband was full-time as well. So let me tell you a little secret. I've never, ever been good at cleaning or schedules or really been a very organized person at all when it came to my home life. Literally, my family knows exactly what to expect when they come into my house or see my car. If it's spotless, they're going to be a little suspicious. So when my first child came, my daughter, I so wanted to be that Pinterest mom. I wanted to be the mom, that makes the cute lunches and throws the big elaborate parties and has those perfect, cute little outfits. But fast forward just a few months into motherhood, and I was a very tired mom who had a very messy house and could never seem to keep up with anything. And I never got it done. Not like I wanted, anyways. I wanted to do it all, and I tried and I tried and I tried. And then entered kiddo number two. I hadn't gotten much down yet. This time I was ready though. I was going to stay home because that was in my head. I was working full time. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to do anything. So this time I was going to stay home. And now, of course, I thought, now I'm going to get all the things done, all the things. I'm sure that you guys listening right now are like literally cackling because if you're a stay at home mom, you know that that is not the case. Things do not get done. I'm laughing at myself now. It's just so funny. Yeah, it didn't work. So I was suddenly a mom of a 3-year-old who had some pretty big health issues at the time and a newborn who was also trying to keep the house in perfect order, make dinner, and start an online business all at one time. I felt guilty all the time. Nothing was ever done. The house was upside down. Dinners were ordered out, and I felt guilty for working on the house when I should be trying to make some money. I felt guilty for working on my business when I should be playing with my kids. And it just was a spiral, a constant spiral. Also, let me interject here. My husband was actually very loving and awesome about this. He was also adjusting to our new normal. He had no expectations that I would be this super mom who did all these things. That was me putting it on myself. He never once asked why is the house such a mess? Gosh. No, there was none of that. It was all me putting this on myself and all this pressure because I just assumed that this is how life should work. Finally, I started doing some research and reading on productivity in a frantic search to make things better. And the more I learned, the more I realized that getting it all done was not true. It was a myth. Nobody does that. There were absolutely ways that I could make my life run smoother, though. Even though it was a myth, and I will claim it to this day, it is a myth that you can get all the things done. It's a fairy tale. Um, but I started trying different scheduling methods. I started working on different habits and systems, and I was really trying to deconstruct on that guilt and what I assumed my role was as a mother. And finally, what I found after realizing that I can't get it all done. And that was a really freeing thought. And then I started working on some scheduling methods, and I fell to the block schedule method, which we will definitely be diving into on a later episode. But I fell with the block scheduling method, and I finally felt like I was somehow getting things done, even though I had the same amount of time in my day. But I found some really good little tips and tricks that just made it easier. And after being a lifetime messy person, a hot mess, absolute hot mess mom, I finally felt like I was getting things done. And I wasn't too exhausted at the end of the day. Sure, I was a little tired, but it wasn't like I was killing myself. I was still pacing myself, I was being kind to myself. And we found that it worked. It worked for us. So we're definitely going to be jumping into that. I hate to like just tease like that change, but I think it takes a lot of talking to get through all that. So don't worry, that is definitely in the weeks to come. There is also, if you're interested in jumping into that kind of reset, I have made a freebie that I'm going to link in the show notes of this podcast, where it is just a busy mom revamp, daily schedule revamp. It's really awesome. It's going to give you some really good to the point tips on how to make that day better. So if you want that freebie, definitely grab it and at the link in the show notes. But regardless of me going through this big change, and it's been I've honestly been working on it for a couple of years now. And I've finally just got comfortable enough to like really talk about this change and how we can change our view on motherhood and how we view our homes and getting all this done. I'm still working on this every day. So I still feel guilt every day, and I still am like breaking that stigma down in my brain. So I'm right there with you. We are going to be learning together, let me tell you. So on this podcast, I want to share with you a few basics of productivity and motherhood that I believe to be true, that I have found that I really think just defines a little better what this podcast is going to be like. And so you can kind of listen and see if this is just vibes with you, right? And I think it will with any busy mom. So here are a few important things that are like the basics of productivity in your home, in motherhood, that I believe to be true. It's through all of my reading and research and just searching. These are some things, some really defining things in my methods. And I think that you'll find them a little freeing, to be honest, and that they really help you break through the stigma and like get more done without the guilt. So we're going to jump into these, and these are going to be kind of the foundation of this podcast, or these like ideas. So the first one is, look, I am so excited to share all these things I've learned with you and talk to others who are honestly probably even better than me about saving time in their day-to-day motherhood and actually get all the things that actually matter done. That bit is really important. This is the important part. We are not on a mission here, or in my life in general. I'm not on a mission to have this picture perfect life and get all those stereotypical things that fall on a mom done. We're on a mission to redefine what getting it done means. What it means to you is what matters. And we're going to find ways to help you and your family thrive. And we're going to kick that mom guilt to the curb. We are going to hopefully just help you get rid of it and stop help making you feel guilty over every little thing that you don't get done in your day, because no, we don't play that game here. Sorry, not sorry. All right, number 2. This is a space for zero shame. There are so many expectations and assumptions that you come into motherhood with. And one is this amazing assumption that once we're mothers, somehow we're automatically supposed to know how to juggle all the things that fall onto our plate and do it perfectly. Like learn how to care for this baby, learn how to make a schedule that works for it, learn how to do laundry around the baby schedule and cook food around the baby schedule, and like And then as they grow, it changes. It changes every step of the way. Look, have you ever started a new job? You have all kinds of training and learning that goes into this. Heck, you may have attended a 4-year college to be able to do it. You're allowed to ask questions at this new job. You're allowed to learn from your others, from your coworkers, right? This is the same as motherhood. We do not just know day one what we're supposed to be doing. It's going to take time to learn. You've got to give yourself some grace. You need a little guidance and some tips along the way to hone your craft, because that's exactly what juggling a house and kids and a job is. It's a craft that you need to practice to succeed at. I'm here to be your mom friend who's just a little bit obsessive about how to find these tips and tricks to make it through. All right, number 3. Here, we're going to give ourselves grace. I jumped into this one a little early in that last point, but so what does that mean exactly? Because you can say grace all day long and have no idea what it means. It means that we're giving ourselves love and mercy, even when we feel like we may not deserve it. Even when you feel like you've been a terrible mom, even you feel like you've been a terrible spouse, we're going to give ourselves a little grace, because I think we all deserve that. No matter how messy your house is, or how many times you've ordered takeout, or how little laundry you get done, we are giving yourself grace. You are trying your best. You do not have to live up to others' standards. You're going to learn every day, and we're going to grow every day. Every time you feel like you failed, it's not a failure. It's just a strategy. It's just a strategy that did not work. No big deal. We can try it again. We don't have real failures here. We have learning opportunities. All right. And lastly, a very important thing that I stand on is that although I'm giving you all these tips and tricks on everything that there is to do about managing your home and your mom life and your kids and everything, as a mom, I do not expect that you're going to be doing every single thing done on your own if you have a partner. Obviously, if you're a single mom, you're a superhero, and you're amazing. So you can use every single one of these tips too. But I want to speak that if you do have a partner, I firmly believe in equal disbursement of the duties for partners, even if you're a stay-at-home mom. And we'll be diving into that in later episodes, because I know that that's the natural act of like splitting all this up is very, very hard, and having those conversations are not easy. But I want you to know that when I talk about all these to-dos, I'm absolutely not coming in with the expectation that you're doing all of these things on your own, and having that expectation that you're this perfect, like 1950s housewife that has all the duties that go with typical motherhood. No, like this is teamwork. When you have a partner, you have teamwork. So we'll definitely jump into that, and I'm trying to convince my husband to come in and like do a little chat here with us about how we kind of found our groove and found our teamwork, because we were not always good at that, honestly. In the last 1.5 to 2 years, we have been together for almost 10 years. In the last 1.5 to 2 years, we have finally found our groove with that. And we've got like to where I really personally feel like we have a 50-50 split of duties. Now that came with the ability to do those duties with our duties at work and everything. It's a real, it's a seesaw, we help each other. We have each other's backs. But yeah, please don't think that because we have this podcast about motherhood and we're talking about all these things that that I have the expectation that you are a super mom and you're supposed to be getting all of these things we talk about done. No, we're going to be talking about how to get those important things done, because that's what actually matters. Thank you so much for listening to the first official episode of the Mama Gets It Done podcast. be sure to tune in next week because we will be talking about schedules and how you may be doing it wrong and how it may be affecting your productivity, because I was doing it wrong. It was not good. So that's what we're talking about next week. New episodes drop on Mondays. Make sure to hit subscribe so you get the notifications when those drop. And make sure to review because that's going to help our little podcast get out to all the other busy mamas of the world. And until next time, give yourself a lot of grace and maybe a little coffee.